as good as you remember it, Johan.
Starting in the bottom left-hand side of the map, the Polish player is souL.
And in the top right side, we're looking at the main base of the Dutchman, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Liquid, of course. It is Harstem.
One of the best YouTuber for StarCraft, if not the best.
I don't know how Loco will take all of this, Johan.
Loco is still the co-op poster boy, so it's okay. I think I made that joke like 1,000 times too. He was so fed up with it.
I don't even do co-op. What are you talking about, Johan?
Yeah, that's why I keep mentioning it, bruh.
As you guys can see, we've got a little update in Group D as well. While we were watching that previous match, souL took down Art 2-0 over at the B stream. They should still have one more series. I believe the final series of the day on the B stream is Stefano versus Gerald. So if you guys want to check that out, ESL_SC2B. I believe Grant and Creighton are holding down the fort today over there. Art having a tough time so far in this group, but that's not too surprising as he is playing his games from Korea. It's of course very difficult to play from Korea on the European server. The fact that he qualified is already an achievement.
Yeah, that thing is no joke for sure. souL? For the longest time, I knew souL as the guy that always would go for quick 3 command centers and then just kind of gamble, you know, like just make it or break it. If you were just all in him, you'd kill him a decent amount of the time. But I think now he's evolved to a point where he's capable of doing a lot of different things. He's a solid macro Terran. And Harstem, he's going to have to show up really prepared here on exactly what he needs to do. What do you think about Terran against Protoss these days? Like, I know you have your own brands of Protoss where, you know, like you expo and you get a lot of charge lots with very few gases at first, but you also cast every single tournament out there, so you're very knowledgeable. So what do you think about the current meta and what we might see here?
Was that a sweet way of you calling me an all-in-it, Todd? Is this the Muslim that I'm listening to?
An all-inner on 5 bases with 2 gases and 60 charge lots? That's a hell of an all-in. I definitely need to name this one after you.
All right, so this is God honest truth, right? For a little while, I genuinely believed that Terran was actually quite good against Protoss, even when all the Terrans were complaining about it, and the Korean Terrans too. And I was like, I really don't see it. And then you watch Clam play and do his magic, and I saw a lot of other Protoss players being upset. And I was like, you know what? All this Terran propaganda, I'm not buying it. I think Terran is actually quite good against Protoss. But then I casted the Korean play-ins for the seasonal finals. So obviously the top 4 of this event, guys, qualifies for the season finals, and that's where the best of Europe will duke it out with the top 6 performance of the GSL. As this Reaper, by the way, is on a rampage, grabbing 2 probes already. Can it get 3? My goodness, Johan, I would leave this game. But the TLDR is that I watched Zest play against Innovation and Bunny, and my goodness, did Zest make Protoss look good. And I was like, wow. I have actually no idea what the Terrans are supposed to do against the Protoss, who plays this good and is this on top of literally everything that's happening in the game. So mixed feelings, but yeah, maybe it's pretty good for Protoss because Zest really sold some invincible PvP to me.
Yeah, but you said he played good. Was it like across all games playing different stuff, or was it one main strategy that he was doing?
I mean, obviously, the main idea behind most of the builds was to get a couple of high templates out as quickly as possible and just get Storm and take the game from there. But everything about it was good. The early game, the mid game, the late game, the transitions, different openings as well, whether it was Stargate or Twilight first. It was just like, wow. Yeah. I can finally understand why a lot of the Terran players hate Protoss so much. This game, though, Johan, we were kind of like in story mode. But souL is off to a phenomenal start, man. Killing 3 probes with the Reaper. Yeah. That is something that sweet baby Terran dreams are made of.
Anyway, if that was the TLDR of the story, I can't imagine what the actual version would be like.
Oh, that's just me talking about how handsome Zest is and good at StarCraft for a very long time.
I would read all of these books for sure. All right, first drop is about to hit the main. Blink's already finished, but there was 2 Stalkers in position here at first. So Widowmine will get lowered on time here.
The Hellions in the natural though, Johan. This drop was kind of a distraction maneuver. Focus fire not perfect at first, so 6 probes going down. It could have been a little bit worse. 1 Hellion remains, gets a few more probe kills, but now the drop shows up for seconds, and Harstem is kind of getting buffed here in game 1. He will be able to clean this up, but losing 11 probes this early and a lot of lost mining time. It started off with a Reaper, but whenever Terran players have a great start with the Reaper, it just seems that every follow-up is 10 times more successful than it normally is.
Yeah, Reaper killing 3 probes. I'm pretty sure that's very uncommon, unless it would be one of my games. But yeah, 14 probes fell so far in this game, and that brings Harstem down to 43 workers against 41, against the souL who... But the third command center about to finish in his main base. He's got all his infrastructure ready.
Medevac. That's good. Very good by Harstem. He's spot on there, Johan. I do think that souL honestly could have killed a bit more. The target fire of the Hellions in the natural, while there were no units attacking the Hellion, because all the units of Harstem were in the main base, was a little bit off. I generally believe that he could have easily killed 5 or 6 additional probes, but it's still good. Now we've got the Raven showing up at the third. That's 2 probes going down, as 1 probe was misrallied. Another probe is actually going to fall to this other turret because it was already built in the natural. I mean, you might look at the numbers now and be like, oh, Harstem is still 8 workers ahead, but it's against triple orbital, while the only thing he's got out on the map are stalkers and soon to be a couple zealots with charge. But the buy above souL is going to get real big in a minute or 2.
Yeah, being on double eBay, like his upgrades are going to be quite amazing, assuming he keeps going with that, and he should go straight for that 2-2. Nice observer though on the other side of the map, does like a lot of the spotting of everything that's happening. He's seeing that there is already triple tank. And actually that's gonna get scans immediately, so that's like, this is the moment that always scared me the most when I play against Terran, is like when that observer gets scanned, I'm like, oh my god, where is he? He's about to drop my main, isn't he? Like, you're always so paranoid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the nice thing for Harstem is that he does have an adept at the Xel'Naga Watchtower, so that's going to give him some information. But we've got a super random Banshee showing up in the main now. Harstem was a bit out of position. He's going to warp in a couple of Stalkers, but he just keeps on losing probes. We're 7 minutes into this game, and souL has now already killed a grand total of 25 probes, Johan. 25 probes in an observer. You don't give a damn that you haven't killed any sentries or Stalkers at this point, because that is just a crap ton of economic damage.
Yeah, Harstem must feel sick. Every time something gets thrown at him, it's something different. First it was a Reaper, then there was Widowmine, Marines, Hellions, a Raven, and now a Banshee. He's like, what's next? A BC is gonna like people jump in there or what? Well, no, actually it's just gonna be a giant Bible headed for you.
At this point, I'd be concerned about the battlecruiser as well. It's like, it doesn't make any sense, but neither did that Banshee. Why the hell did you make a single Banshee without cloak? Well, yeah, even that Banshee was somewhat successful. Now, there is one way for Harstem to still win this, and that is that if souL takes a fight with an army that doesn't have that many units, and it gets overwhelmed by zealots. The longer this goes on, the worse it gets for Harstem. And that's, oh no, he's building double Robobay 2-tot. He wanted to build a second robo. Okay, at least he noticed, so he canceled his second robotics bay, and the first disruptors are out. But I think all souL needs to do is wait until he has like a few more bio units. You want to make sure you don't attack with 8 Marines and 2 Marauders. No, make it 20 Marines, 4 or 5 Marauders, then start pressuring with the tanks. And I don't see what can possibly go wrong for souL.
Yeah, I think Harstem, the defensive side, is where he excels. If he doesn't fall too far behind, and he does feel like he's falling behind here in this game, I think in the long run, if he can go up to 4 or 5 bases, have High Templars, Disruptors, and Colossi, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be one of the better players at microing this type of army. But right now, this is really adding up the amount of probes that he's lost up to 28. And that's gonna translate into a healthy supply lead from souL here.
Yep, Harstem is actually moving out. He's had enough of sitting at home and just trying to defend. Ooh, I hope that he pays attention to this with a mine, and he does, so this mine shot shouldn't be too big. Gets 2 additional workers. The other mine is actually going to fire again before the cannon is going to take it out. And if Harstem sends back all his probes, the probes are going to clump up. Oh, no!
Oh, my God.
Saw that one coming.
That's very unfortunate. He actually recalls the War Prism, which was about to be taken out by a Viking on the other side of the map, so very well done. He saves 3 Zealots in the process and still has that threat. Disruptors in the main base are going to be able to demine the field, but that was more probes going down. Oh my god, the amount of probes that have fallen. 44! If that hadn't happened, he would be on 100 plus workers right now, which, I mean, obviously it wouldn't have gone that high, but disastrous. And souL, in the meantime, he's getting everything he needs to get. He's got a whole bunch of ghosts already.
I think souL is doing almost everything right in this game, but I didn't like that he retreated when he did. So the fight that he was going to get as soon as he had 20 plus Marines was always going to be good. He's absolutely dominating his game and he's playing a phenomenal TVP, but souL's downfall sometimes, Johan, is that he's a little too passive. And it doesn't matter how many workers you kill early on if you just sit until your opponent is maxed out, because a maxed out Harstem can always win a fight.
Yeah. This seems like a good time to try and get a fight when you have 185 against 158.
Yeah.
But disruptors are such a threat here, so you still have to be very cautious. And there's always a chance he drops the main base, which is why Harstem has left so many stalkers in the main base to intercept that if it were to happen.
And the Raven is still chilling between the bases too. Seems like souL has picked up 4 medevacs, 5 medevacs full of units. He's gonna fly everything into the main base. Stalkers were waiting for it, but this is just a few too many bio units. Harstem does get a decent trade at first, but he just needs a little bit more. I wouldn't mind a battery overcharge. Keep that cannon alive a little bit longer, keep the stalkers alive, but it's just not gonna happen. Good move by souL and an absolutely fantastic game. Jeez Louise, Todd. Welcome to Domination Nation. I thought you told me that this guy was Polish. What the hell just happened there?
Yeah, that was very impressive by souL. Quite relentless with the aggression, but always very controlled aggression. He never really overextended. And on the contrary, every attack that he did was dealing a lot of damage. More damage than you would think they would at this stage, really.
Yep. Awesome. It starts off with the Reaper. I said it before, like, Reapers are just not supposed to get 3 probe kills. And like losing 1 probe and then killing the Reaper, that's acceptable. If you lose 2 probes, you're like, oh, that kind of sucks. It's not a good start. If you lose 3 probes, like especially early on when you only have 22, 23 workers, you're losing a pretty significant part of your economy at that point, and it just kind of snowballs. And then you always have a few units less than you normally do. souL played one hell of a game. I think he could have done even a bit better with the Hellions. There was potential to kill a few more probes, but I think we'll let it slide after he still killed 44 plus probes.
Yeah.
8 minutes into the game.
He killed 44 workers. You're sitting here like he could have done more. souL's gonna rewatch this one later. It's gonna be like, really, Rossi, really?
I mean, 3 Hellions in an exposed mineral line, no Protoss units, no shield battery. That's the jackpot. That's where you can get the absolute money shots off. But phenomenal game by souL, and Harstem just needs to clean things up. We know that Harstem can play one hell of a PvT, and it starts off with the Reaper defense. It's sometimes a boring phase to the game where the Adept just chases around the Reaper and nothing happens. But 3 probes, it just makes everything else hit a little bit harder and a little bit faster from the Terran side, and the Protoss just has a little bit less to deal with. The Widowmine drops, they were awesome though, Johan. The retarget once or twice, the fact that he picked up this 1 mine, then dropped it, and then all the probes came back and the Widowmine was off cooldown.
Yeah.
Because if you warp in a cannon to deal with a mine that's cloaked and is already burrowed, that cannon will never take care of the mine. Like, you may see it right before it shoots, but you will never be able to kill it. Just a sick game by souL.
Even that drop at the end was very decisive. Like, against this many stalkers, I think most Terrans would say, okay, I'm not going to risk going in there. Like, I could lose 2 medevac full of units before they finally start dropping. souL was like, no, it's no problem. Like, he's clearly not going to have enough, even with the re-warping. And he was right. It's like, Disruptor, they're not mobile at all. Like, sending that in the main base, even Harstem realized, like, there was no way he was going to come back from this game. So, just tapped out, but now we're going to be on his map pick. We're heading to Romanticides, Kailaris' favorite map from what he was saying.
I was about to say it. Like, what was that? Kailaris just starts talking about how he's a man of romance in the beginning of the day. Now I can't look at Romanticide without thinking of James. Thank you, Kailaris. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, I picture James having a candlelight dinner as well now when I see this name.
It's like, I'm sure James is hidden somewhere in the corner with a little picnic or something. In the bottom right side, we are looking at the main base of our Polish Terran, who looked nothing short of fantastic in game 1. He is still representing Cascade Esports. It is souL.
His opponents starting in the northwest of the map, playing as the Blue Protoss, representing Team Liquid and the Netherlands. It's Harstem. With a rough game 1, I feel like after this type of game, it would be very easy to tilt and not play nearly as well for the rest of the match, because just everything's going wrong. As somebody who's played a tournament next to me once upon a time, I don't remember what year it was, maybe like 2004, 2005, 2006 maybe. I remember you were also like a bit of a tilter, like losing a few units here and there, you know, hitting the table, cursing out loud.
Why would you bring
Is
up?
there any insights you want to share about how
Why
to
would
stay
you
calm in
bring
this
up
situation?
my nerd rage moments of 2005, Todd? And it wasn't that bad. Okay, you were a bit dramatic about it.
What?
So the
I
story
had to
here,
ask the
guys.
referee to move me, bro.
Yes, exactly. So, guys, the TLDR is I was playing a game, an orc versus human. Basically, we have zealots that are orcs, and one of my grunts got surrounded by footmen, and I was like, "Oh, damn it!" Something along those lines, and I kind of like tapped the table. It wasn't that loud. I wasn't smashing anything. I was
Bro,
just
you
like,
were talking out loud. You were like, what am I doing?
yeah, that's true. I was like, damn it, what am I doing? You know, it's like a big match for me. And then after the match, I have a referee coming up to me, and they're like, yeah, your neighbor has requested to be moved to a different part of the tournament area because apparently you're very, I don't know if he said aggressive, but you were slapping the table. And I was like, oh, come on. I was like, who is it? It's Johan Merlo. And I was like, oh my God, drama queen.
Harstem gets the eBay out of there. I definitely delayed the Nexus quite a bit. Goes for the Stargates. And we've seen a lot of Stargates still.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back. I remember the game, man. I got really pissed when my grunt got surrounded. It was a big match.
If I could lose the 900 hit points units to footmen, I'd also be pretty pissed because I would be clearly pretty damn bad at this game. So
see, so you understand the frustration that little Roddy was feeling at that point. We had like 2 esports tournaments a year back then, guys. So when things go wrong 4 minutes in, it's a little upsetting.
Okay, so everything was scouted. Damn, those Reapers today. Putting in work when souL's controlling them. I gotta say, I'm very impressed. But at least he doesn't kill 3 probes, you know, with the first Reaper. It's only been 1 probe going down so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on a more serious note, it's always nice for a Terran, I think, to have a triple CC opening against a Stargate build because, you know, often when we open Stargate as Protoss players, you don't want to rush up to 3 bases as quickly as you do with a Twilight opening. So you at least want to fly to the other side of the map and see if everything is fine. But by the time you're there, that 3rd command center is pretty much done. And you're like, well, I guess now we go up to 3 next time ourselves. But ideally, if you would know what you're going up against, Todd, you'd already be building that Nexus at this point. But Harstem can't really justify that without knowing what souL is doing.
I always thought there was like a minimum number of probes you need to have on your expansion before you build that Nexus. Usually between 8 and 10 at least. So maybe he's waiting for that first. But he's queuing a lot of probes right now. Actually, that Nexus on the Expo and the main both have triple probe queued up in it.
Well, let's see if this Oracle can find some success for Harstem. I don't see too many units in the main base. There is a Cyclone. The Cyclone gets the perfect lock-on, so Harstem does not get any SCV kills. And didn't actually see the 3rd command center, but maybe the lack of a 2nd barracks, the lack of a starport can kind of give it away, and he knows what's up. But while I say that, Johan, he's building extra gateways before expanding. And that's not something I would want to do or something I'd like to do if I know that my opponent is on 3 bases already.
Yeah, maybe a bit worried about some of the potential attacks. I mean, he was being attacked a lot last game, so maybe wanting to play a little safer. It does feel like souL's completely safe. That bunker on the expansion, standing by.
It's a beautiful setup, man. I mean, Harstem flying to the other side of the map with double Phoenix Oracle. What he could do is lift both Cyclones and then maybe send the Oracle into the mineral line. But we know there is already a missile turret finished up too on the side of souL. souL is bulletproof, and economically, this game is just looking fantastic for the Polish Terran. We're even in workers, 5 minutes into a game. That's once more what sweet baby Terran dreams are made of. And he's got triple orbital. This is about as good as it gets economically for a Terran player.
You know what I really miss in Protoss against Terran is that build where you just go, like whatever you open with, you immediately after that go charge and High Templar with Quick Storm. And then just have a lot of High Templar stand on the map. And then just storm all over the place, do a Prism drop with High Templar. For a while, that was like the meta. That was many years ago, I guess. And now most people, I guess they've gotten good enough that this might not necessarily be the best thing to do anymore, but we do see charge first here. Makes me curious how quickly it's going to go into High Templars.
the downside of like rushing into High Templars immediately when you barely have any units is that if your storms whiff, the rest of your army just kind of sucks, right? So you need a little more meat to it. You need a little bit of a buffer, because the days where Terran players just walk into storms blindly and you can kill 8 Marines with your first storm, yeah, that kind of gone. People have been getting better and better. So you need to show a little more respect to the ability of your opponent being able to micro their way out of storm.
Yeah. We do have the Templar Archives on the way now. I love that pylon at 12 o'clock, by the way. Like, when I played professionally on StarCraft 2, I also would make this kind of pylon all the time. And I was like, oh, this is going to help me so much in defending. And then I would just still die against good Terrans. And then it's like you watch, you know, any one of the top Protosses out there that never do that. And they defend everything that's being thrown at them. It's like, oh, man, this is just not fair. Like, these guys are so incredibly good. But, you know, if you feel like a bit of extra vision is going to help you out in defending, if you feel like a big drop around the main base is one of the things you struggle against, I completely understand Harstem going for this, but souL is starting to pull ahead here in supply.
Yep. I am really feeling souL's position. I mean, I know it's been hard for Harstem to find a lot of damage in this game when he flew the first Cyclone or the first Oracle into the Cyclone immediately. But now we're flying around with 5 Phoenixes that barely have any kills. They have a crap ton of energy. We have not been able to find a single SCV, and Harstem needs to be very careful here with these Phoenix. Does find one more stray Marine. But the army at this point of souL is quite a bit better than the army of Harstem. Obviously, a stasis trap could turn a battle upside down. Static defenses can help out a lot. But let me just tell you, Todd, that if you make this many Phoenixes, you would have liked to kill a couple SCVs when you had the chance.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they've been able to do much. They're actually almost full energy, like a lot of them right now. And yeah, we had no storm here made at all from Harstem. He just made the one Archon from the Templar Archive that he got. It does feel like this move out definitely delayed the 4th base from Harstem. He's playing really scared right now, and as he should be. And look at this. If it isn't your favorite upgrade in the Ghost Academy.
The enhanced shockwaves are on the way. Obviously going to help out a lot in making it a bit easier to take down those Zealots, and especially the Archons are going to melt once they get hit by EMPs. I think that Harstem's chance and game plan at this point is, let's turtle up. And let's try to get 4 or 5 beefy robo units out, whether those are Disruptors or Colossi. I honestly think I would prefer Colossus when you have the Phoenixes out and you have this many Zealots. Because Zealots and Disruptors, they don't work very well together, right? Because often the Zealots just run forward, you kill your own Zealots. At least that's what happens to us mere mortals. So I think I like the fact that Harstem is going for Colossus over Disruptors here. It just complements the rest of his army a bit better.
Great bunker on the 3rd base of souL here, with the Widowman as well, making sure that no Zealots come in there and start killing SCVs. As far as units lost, so far nothing much has died on either side, but souL with super solid macro, it feels like he's just pulling further and further ahead, better upgrades on the way. He needs to figure out that there is Colossi on the way, I guess ideally, and then either go into Vikings or Liberators. But if he fights soon here with EMPs, yeah, this could be really bad for Harstem. He's just not ready for this army right now, I think.
Pastu's not done yet. Harstem does have 2 Colossi that are on their way, but they're going to show up a little bit late to keep these static defenses alive. Here are the Colossus, but the Widowmine shots have a lot of potential. The Phoenixes just really haven't done a whole lot in this game, and the investment has been huge. They're going to fly forward and drag some of the Mind Fire into the Terran army, but that didn't quite work out. And other than these 2 Giraffes in the back, the rest of the Protoss army is just not good enough. souL is feeling confident, stims forward, and he kills the Colossus in range of battery overcharge. This is just it, man. souL is completely steamrolling Harstem. I did not expect it. I did not see this one coming.